Hello, my name is Nithin Cherian. I'm the MI Pro Audio Marketing Manager from Yamaha Corporation of America. I'm here at Northern Sound and Light to talk to you about the new TF Series. The TF Series is what we believe is the marriage of Yamaha design and intuitive operation brought to you into a series of mixing consoles. Okay? It employs TouchFlow operation. TouchFlow operation is the idea of where you can mix any way you prefer. If you like to use a physical console, if you like to use a touchscreen versus knobs versus faders, if you like to use a application like a tablet, to do mixing from an iPad, if you like to use a computer editor, any which way or mix of that, you can connect one computer editor up to 2 remote controllable tablet devices, currently via iOS, and up to 10 phone-sized devices to do monitor mixes from. So there's 3 consoles in this series. There's the TF1, which is 16 plus 1 faders, the TF3, seen here, which is 24 plus 1 fader, and the TF5, which is 32 plus 1 faders. So today, because the TF3 is right here, we're going to talk about the TF3. Okay, so what's so special about the TF series? The TF series was designed to basically bridge the needs of a pro engineer to get up to really good sound really quick, and for a less experienced engineer to have some of the capabilities that are well beyond their years. As we like to say, there's decades of mixing inside. Okay? So to start, you have your faders right on your control surface. You have your touch screen with 3 buttons. This button is for selecting your favorites or your Quick Pro presets. Your home button, which gets you back to this home screen. And this button, which will call up features like copy or zero your EQ. Then you have 6 assignable buttons and 4 assignable knobs that you can choose to set however you'd like to do different functions, from scene change to bringing up the help screen to controlling your gain, whatever you want. And then what comes from our higher end consoles, we have our touch and turn knob, which basically means if you touch here and turn this, it does something. If you touch here and turn something, it does something, right? So anywhere you touch on the screen, you can manipulate by touching the screen and turning this knob, hence touch and turn. Okay? So before we get started, I want you to know one thing, which is at Yamaha, we'd like to give you at least 2 options to do almost anything, right? So in different ways. So for instance, right at the top here, I can select this channel just by touching this channel. Or I can select this channel by hitting the channel select here. Or if I want to find a different channel, I can swipe to find a different channel, select that channel, and you notice that follows the select over here. So let's start with getting audio into this. So at the first, our hardware starts with our D-Pre. Our D-Pre is a very highly regarded mic preamp that's used in our Steinberg recording interfaces. We have a new version of it that also allows you to recall your gain settings. So your scene settings can actually adjust your gain settings from scene to scene, which is really cool. So when you select something, if it's already selected, like here, or if I just touch it here, you'll see that the input blinks. In this case, let's go to channel 22, because that's where I have a microphone connected. If I touch once, it selects the channel. If I touch twice, it goes right into the deeper feature. So this here is what we call the gain finder. Now, the gain finder is really just a new way to dial your head amp gain, right? Because for a lot of people, this is the hardest thing to do, getting your audio to sound good right from the get-go. For your seasoned engineers, we have a standard level meter right here. And for those people less experienced, all you have to do is when you start talking and checking your levels, you can set it just like a guitar tuner. You'll notice if you can get this level to sit right there in the middle, just like this, sit right about there, you're at a place where it's great for the rest of your audio experience. So any effects, any EQ, anything you want to do, your audio signal is going to be good. So no more guessing on what it takes to dial your level. Right there, big problem solver. That makes life a lot easier. That's unique to Yamaha and to this console actually itself. So next, we're going to go right down the channel strip. Your EQ. Like any other console, you have different filters. So you have your high pass filter, you have your upper shelving filter. So you can engage your high pass like this. So let's put that on there. You can tap here, you can move it like this. If you tap it again, you can move it this way, up and down. And if you tap here, you can adjust the Q, right? So gain, frequency, and Q. Pretty simple stuff. And that's pretty normal for a lot of consoles. But hey, I can just grab and touch it since it's a multi-touch screen. But if I want to, if I do this, I can actually pinch for my Q. And I don't have to do it right on top of it. I can do it anywhere on the screen. As long as I'm doing that function on the screen, it'll understand to do that, and it'll adjust my width for me. So that's really cool. But that's sort of that's a really horrible EQ preset for a vocal microphone. So we supplied you a bunch of presets we call quick probe presets. So in this case, we have preset offerings from companies like Audio-Technica, Shure, and Sennheiser. They're presets that we made that were approved by those companies of how their products sound through our console, through our PA system. So you can be rest assured that it's a great starting point, if not right on the money of where you want to be with your EQ settings. So in this case, I was using an SM58 from Shure. I can touch the SM58 right here. I can recall the different parameters. Once it's recalled, which is that quick, there you go. Brand new EQ. Awesome. So right there, you've got years of experience of all different instruments. You can do saxophones, you can do congas, you can do kick drums, snare drums, all these different kinds of instruments. Say you've never done a saxophone at a gig, and a sax player walks up. All you have to do now is grab the preset, and you got a place to start, right? That's a lifesaver. So we have this new EQ we call one knob EQ. It's a lot like our one knob compressor that comes out of our MGP series and some of our MG series of mixers. We took that idea and we brought it to EQ. So you'll notice that when we brought up the SM58 preset, it comes into intensity mode. One knob intensity mode basically allows you to, with one knob, make that mix more intense or less intense. So it literally adjusts all those parameters with one knob turn, which is amazing. So think about that kick drum, you dial just the right way, or that snare, you got really thick and fat. You can make it a little bit less intense, or you can make it more intense, right? So that's intensity mode. But we decided to give you one other tool because we found that vocals are one of the hardest things for people to learn to do well. And we didn't want to just give you a standard EQ or a preset. We took it one step further. We have what we call one knob vocal EQ. What it does is it goes from 0 to 100. And in those orders and steps, you start doing the things that a seasoned engineer would do. So literally, starts by giving you a high-pass filter. It starts moving it up. It starts sucking out some of the low mids, right? It starts making it a little bit brighter. And even if I crank it up all the way, it doesn't do anything that makes your mix really crazy or horrible, right? But say I got a guy, I want to change, maybe they need to be more intense at a lower frequency. Well, that's all I have to do. And then I can bring one knob back in, it goes back to intensity, and now I can do more or less of that. That's absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. It's really cool. So that's just your EQs. And we have gates like you would usually see. We have the one knob compressor, but now you can see what one knob compressor fully does instead of just a single knob on our analog consoles, or you can break out of it. So one knob compression. From there, you have your effects buses, so you can see your effects. You can see that you can mute or activate your effects from here. You can even do your overall effects levels from here. You can pick your variety of effects right from this screen here. Select whatever you want. In this case, it's Reverb Hall. And then we conveniently left a tap tempo button at the bottom of the console. So at any time during a gig, you can tap in the tempo and timing of your delay and your reverb, and they automatically sync together, or you can have them work separately. That sort of handles your input kind of stages of effects and things you'd want to do. But now that you've picked effects, maybe you want to do some sends of those auxiliary levels to a particular aux, right? Maybe I want to set up my monitors and do my aux mixing. Well, we have this feature called sends on fader. So if we're on our input layer, I decide to use aux 3. If I just tap aux 3, it flips the faders, and now I can mix my aux, and it sets the master, notice master blinking here, to the aux master. And then if I tap it again, it goes right back to that input layer with your master being your master level again to the console. So that's your inputs. Let's look at your outputs a little. So adding on your outputs, we have 8 mono outs, 6 stereo outs. And you'll notice on every output, not only do you have that same EQ, right, but you have our Flex 12 graphic EQ. So it's a 31 band graphic EQ that you can look through the whole thing like that, or you can go through this way, and you can move through the various settings. So as you use a filter, you'll notice that the filter count changes, and you have up to 12 to use. At any given time, you can reset the whole thing, start from scratch, or if you just want to individually reset one, if you double tap, you can reset that one band. But that basically gives you a little bit of control to tune your wedges, your mains, whatever. But say we're on our master section, or our left and right output. In a lot of facilities, to RTA a room, you may not have the capability, right? You may not know how, not the engineering power. Well, we found from some testing that via 3 basic overall output EQs, we call it FOH large for front of house, FOH outside, or FOH small room. If you literally select it, it tells you what room size it's for. We can give you a channel EQ from your masters that get you really close and really great to what solves most of the problems for a lot of different rooms. And you can see that output right there. So that's the output EQ. So we've sort of managed your inputs and your outputs, but we haven't really talked about, well, if I want to get audio in, say from an iPad or an iPhone. We have a dedicated audio connector for 2-track audio in that allows you to use an external hard drive, like a little thumb-sized flash drive, or even a USB 2 compliant hard drive to do 2-track audio right into here. As well as we have a data port here to save your patches to. And if you want to type in anything where there's screens that you can edit labels and stuff, the data port allows you to save your presets. It also allows you to take a standard USB keyboard, and you can use that to type in your settings and your labels, because some people just don't like to touch type. So another workflow related thing that we should show you before we finish today is how we handle groups. We have 8 DCAs. You can see here, these are labeled drum, bass, guitar, keys, horns, vocals. So if I select drums, you can see all the drums come right to me, right? Right to your hands. Bass is just bass by itself. Keys, a couple keys, left and right. Background vocals or vocals in general, your horn section. You can set these to be anything you want. I mean, and it's so simple. You can literally add something by touching it, right? Setting your DCAs and then flipping through. So once you get your mixes, what you'll notice is on the DCAs, it carries the color through as well. So you know how you originally labeled stuff and know where to get around. And then lastly, for another workflow kind of thing that we offer for you, is we offer a custom layer. And your custom layer, you can have inputs, you can have your auxes, you can have your masters, so a mixture of things, all right on one layer, so you don't have to switch through multiple layers to see inputs and outputs. You can adjust your levels and mix that all the time. So that way, if you wanted your DCAs here, you wanted your auxes plus your master here, and maybe your 8 primary channels or most important channels that change a lot, that you need to see all the time individually, you can do that on one custom layer. So if that wasn't enough, we have this USB interface that is easy to use as plugging in. So it uses Core Audio for the Mac OS, and it uses ASIO compliance for PC. The console ships with Cubase AI. Cubase AI will give you 16 tracks of simultaneous record. The console supports up to 32 independent channels, plus a stereo pair of your stereo output bus. And it goes both ways. So what's cool about that is not only can you record everything, but if the band goes away and you want to practice mixing later, you can flip all your inputs from analog inputs to the digital inputs via USB, hit play on your computer, and you can mix the band while they're not there. When you go into the EQ screen, we have a RTA built into it. So you can actually see the kind of frequencies that are coming through, and you can adjust your EQ based on that, or you can actually see if there's a troublesome spot in a certain part of the frequency range. But if you don't know frequency, all you have to do is touch the screen again, and you can see a piano roll that even tells you where middle C is. So if you know notes, but you don't know frequencies, you can use that to tell somebody, hey man, when I play C above middle C, it's bugging me. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? They can figure out, or you can figure out where that is in the frequency spectrum and try to find that frequency and fix the problem. And it's just as easy as a touch. So again, this is the Yamaha TF Series. where design meets intuition. I'm Nithin Cherian, MI Pro Audio Marketing Manager for the Yamaha Corporation of America, and you can get the new TF Series at Northern Sound and Light.